No, if you want to talk about something now. I'm just waiting for the clock. Mine's a 7. Okay. Haley, are we ready? Okay. We'd like to welcome you all to our council meeting this evening. My name is Eileen Moss. I am Mayor Pro Tem. Mayor John Coleman will be unable to join us tonight. He had a little surgery yesterday and is not feeling up to it, but I'm sure like the rest of the council, if you have to miss a meeting, we always listen in to what has gone on. We have the YouTube channel. So I'm sure he'll be listening to our meeting this evening. We are meeting at an anchor location of 910 South Mountain Road, Fruit Heights, Utah, and the time is 7 o'clock, so we'll get started. I am going to lead us in a pledge of allegiance, so if I could invite you all to stand with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, you're up.
Our Father in heaven, we bow our heads and thank thee as a city for a chance to gather together. We are thankful for the good circumstances and beautiful area that we live in. We're thankful for America and our chance to be a part of this great nation. We pray for help that we will be able to discuss issues and problems in a productive and helpful way, that we will be able to show respect to each other. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. We have our roll call by Haley.
Councilmember Gary Anderson
Is excused.
Councilmember Mark Cottrell.
Here.
Councilmember Eileen Moss.
Here.
Councilmember George Ray.
Here.
Councilmember Florence Sadler.
Here.
Mayor John Paul.
Is excused. And our city council training tonight was to be by Gary, but again, he has been called out of town, so he is unable to make it. Do we have anyone that would like to declare a conflict of interest tonight on anything that's on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on. During this time, it's our public comment time next. We welcome anyone to present any issues that may be on their mind. Please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. Please state your name and address.
Can we do the presentation from the city council?
You want to do it? Okay.
They won't be here, the city council do the report.
I spoke with, are you okay doing it by yourself? Okay. Oh, you've got your compadre. Okay, thank you. Go ahead and come on up and we'll have that. So we'll just switch the order up just a little bit here for us.
Well, just as a recent report of what we've done in the past.
Oh, can I get you to please state your name?
Sure. I'm Landon Jacobs. And just in the past few weeks, we engaged in a haunted hollow where we were seeing the actors and some of the organizers of that. And through that, we gathered over 1,000 pounds of food through that food drive. And that was a lot of fun. If you want to talk about the mock vote, we can.
We also did a mock vote within our new city council, and then for our upcoming activities, we are doing a like a letter activity in November where we're going to write letters to members of the community, such as the elderly and veterans.
And then for our Christmas activity, we're gonna be doing a food drive, so we'll like pass out flyers and stuff and just be gathering food and then donating it to a charity.
And that food you'll be gathering here at the city offices?
Yes. So please bring food to that.
Yeah, throughout the month of December and after.
Throughout the month of December. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate what you're doing for the city. Is there anything that the council can do to help you? Okay, well, thank you very much for your presentation. Okay, so now we will move into our public comment period. As I said, you have 3 minutes. Please state your name and your address. For the record, we'll have you come up here. There's no need to have signed in, to be able to speak. But if you're here and you haven't signed in, would you please do so maybe before you leave the meeting? And so with that, we'll go ahead and turn the time over to the public. This is going to be the only chance anyone's going to have to speak tonight on this anything.
My name is Charlie Barnes. I live at 1507 Hidden Springs Parkway. This is so out of my wheelhouse, so bear with me. Our mayor, John Pullman, was elected to represent the interests of the people of Fruit Heights. The mayor should work with the city council to establish the city's general policies. When elected, Mayor Pullman committed that he would implement the city council's policies, not his own agenda. In recent weeks, it has come to my attention that Mayor Pullman has seemingly been pursuing his own agenda and misleading people in doing so. On October 15th, Mayor Pullman told the city council members, "There is no transparency." This is his quotes, meaning this is not something the city initiated, this is not something the city is doing, it is not something the city is backing or is in charge of. It is an agreement between public or private nonprofit and the state of Utah. To be honest with you, 99% of the city would never know. The next day, 10/16, at a council of government meeting, in a clear contradiction to what he represented to the city council, the mayor said, "We as a city went to the county and presented an idea for a church to be used." Local government, like all forms of government in the United States, are set up to serve the people. Elected officials are supposed to represent the will of the people, not their own agendas. Mayor Pullman not only failed to inform his constituents, but went about intentionally misleading people to achieve his purposes. Not only were the residents of Fruit Heights kept in the dark, but so too was the city council. This is simply not acceptable. The mayor's "We the City" statement clearly misrepresented the reality of the situation. That the mayor, in fact, was intentionally keeping the city in the dark concerning his plans, giving a false impression to those in the COG meeting, that he had acted responsibly with the consensus of Fruit Heights city residents and its council. The mayor's bad faith is further evidence in his begging the mayors and commissioners of Davis County for their help to keep us in the dark. I quote him as saying, "It would be really nice if you guys just kept quiet about it. Like, let's not bring residents into it and over-dramatize the issue. We as a city support this fully. We are going to do everything we can to help out everything here. Please don't make it dramatic. Please, we don't need that. I would like to, at the end of this winter, point it out and say this already happened. And that has not caused a single issue. But please, I'm asking from the depth of my heart to not make this a dumb situation, because we are over-dramatizing and bringing so much emotion to this situation. Mayor Pullman, I wish you was here to answer this. Why would you intentionally seek to keep your plans for the city from those you represent? If you genuinely believe you're acting in the best interest of your constituents, why not seek to openly educate us? We have a beautiful, kind, and caring community. We are a city of good neighbors. However, being a good neighbor doesn't mean we have to be okay with a mayor who has no regard for the legislative process. Our city needs a mayor who looks out for our interests, not his own. A mayor that we can trust, a mayor that won't question his constituents' Christian values, and most importantly, a mayor that will be open and honest to those he represents.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else that would like to comment this evening? Go ahead.
My name is Stephen Rumler, and I live at 748 East Snapdragon Lane. I just had a couple of feelings that I wanted to express tonight. The first one was I wanted to express gratitude to the Mountain Road Church for their example of kindness and compassion in being willing to consider the Code Blue Shelter program. I would also like to express my appreciation for the mayor and for the city council. I know there are a lot of really strong feelings right now, but I also know that balancing the interests and feelings of residents and also the trade-offs of different decisions is really challenging. and that there are often situations that we find ourselves in where there aren't any easy options. And even when sometimes the people who are public servants don't make the choices that we would have preferred, it's important that we hold them to a standard that accepts the reality of situations with state compliance requirements, with state programs, and things like that. And we don't, want to have our cake and eat it too. That we don't ask them to do things that are impossible or that would cause negative consequences in terms of failing to comply with those compliant requests. And so I hope that we can have some appreciation for some of the challenges and some compassion for some of the conflicts of the situation and what the mayor may have thought. And I think some of the responses that we've seen is evidence that some of the mayor's concerns about the public reaction and how the challenges that were justified. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to comment tonight? Go ahead.
All right, I'm Heather Everton, and I live at 496 South Stern Drive. So I'm just preparing a statement. The Fruit Heights community has been in turmoil over the recent years. Yeah, sorry. Hopefully, I'll try to face this so it picks up. The Fruit Heights community has been in turmoil over the recent Code Blue shelter proposal. This is another in a long line of issues that have come before the city in the past 2 years, many of which have filled the council chambers with concerned citizens, spawned petitions, and set neighbors against neighbors. We believe the current issues are not about whether the homeless need assistance. Everyone on both sides of the issue feel compassion for people living in hard times. The real issue is how it was initiated and managed by Mayor Pullman. This issue has caused us as citizens of the community to take a hard look at our city government, the job the mayor and the city council are doing, and to try to identify why serious problems keep recurring. The following are a few of many initiatives that Mayor Pullman has done that are either outside of his scope of responsibility and authority, or citizens have had to rally to prevent over the last 2 years. In almost all of these cases, we found a common thread to be the involvement and input from Mayor Pullman. Mayor Pullman has misled citizens. He has bypassed the legislative process. He has not been transparent in his dealings. The mayor's position by state code is an administrator position. He does not have authority to make decisions and legislation for the city. The city council is the legislative body of the city. After much research by a team of neighbors, we have solid evidence of many situations where Mayor Pullman demonstrated a pattern of evasive behavior and poor judgment. Due to time constraints today, I will share 3 examples. The latest being the Code Blue shelter. The mayor instigated the Code Blue shelter in agreement with the Mountain Road Church using his position as mayor without the council's knowledge. The mayor was not truthful about his or the city's involvement to the council or the citizens. The mayor was not forthcoming with Mountain Road Church about how the shelter would work, particularly around security and transportation. Or he didn't know, but it was his responsibility to know if he was going to bring this into our city. The mayor did not allow for open and public dialogue on the subject before proceeding, and the mayor was not transparent and intentionally kept this a secret. Another recent issue is the walking trail east side of the south wall from 4th North to City Hall. Many citizens had concerns about this project. It would put a trail in the backyards of many homes with a blank wall behind it. Sexually graphic and racial graffiti continues to appear on the tunnel under 89, which connects the proposed trail. The trail would have covered almost the entire length of the city. The mayor instructed staff to contact local churches for volunteers to build this trail through the 9/11 day of service. Churches were recruiting volunteers for this project. The mayor again initiated this on his own, instructing city staff to proceed. The mayor did not go through proper channels. The trail was not on the city's general plan. The planning commission had not discussed it, and it was not approved by the city council. It had not been debated or discussed. The mayor did nothing to be transparent. No one in the community knew that this trail was being considered, particularly the property owners next to the trail. They found out when they went to church and were asked to volunteer to help. The mayor misled church leaders to thinking it was an approved project and led to bad feelings between the people organizing the project and those working to stop it.
Thank you.
One last example.
Quickly.
The law enforcement coverage, the mayor made a proposal for the city to change its law enforcement and cover the from Davis County Department of Police. The shift would have changed. They were going to be able to save a fair amount of money, but again, this was done as a one-off consideration. He was not working through with the council, he was not getting public comment, and we had to have the public come in and essentially ask him to stop.
Okay.
So based on this pattern of behavior and putting our community at risk, we asked Mayor Pullman to resign, and should he decline, we would recommend that the city council work to remove him from that position.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that can speak tonight? Okay, seeing none, we will move on with our other items for discussion tonight. Item number 5.1 under discussion is our culinary water rates for January, starting in January 2025, and our consolidated fee schedule, which the city has been working on updating for some period of time. So I'll turn the time over to Darren to present that for us. And I should be polite and say to our city manager, Darren France.
So as we've been talking the last few council meetings, we've been talking about the updating of the consolidated fee schedule with the changes and different things, adding the fines and this and that for the stormwater program and those kind of things. Some of the items that have been brought up by the council. We had a question about the building evaluation and where that is. That's in the building code book that they put out nationally to do that by, and that's what that is. That's just an example of it, where we actually keep current with that. That changes about every 6 months as they go through new studies. So that is one of the changes. It's just the wording there as far as that is. And can you scroll down a bit, Haley, please? Sorry, it's very delayed when it comes onto the TV. So this is part of the building permit for new homes, and the different sections that come along with that. Over the years, as the city's done building inspections and stuff like that, there's always a storm drain management fee, and there's been a guarantee fee that the project is completed. That fee has been very minimal as far as a few years ago, and there were times that builders never had a final inspection on their homes. And so we have houses that had been sold and never had a final inspection on them. The fee was increased for that, but also the wording, talking with the attorney about how to get that money back. And if it is depleted, because there are times where they have a bunch of inspections extra, and as a council and a staff, that's not the responsibility of our taxpayers to pay for all the extra inspections. That's the builders. And so we've adjusted that to where if they've hit a certain point on that, they have to replenish that and make sure that they're accomplishing and getting final inspections and stuff on the house. And this is the wording, as I've talked to the city attorney about, to have that, so we can have that and enforce that properly. So, some of the others, plan reviews and for landscaping and stuff with the Rockcliffe development, each one of those homes has to have a landscaping plan review, because of the ordinance they have to follow up there, because they use culinary water for irrigation. So those reviews have taken a lot longer than the usual, and so it's just an increase to cover the cost for those reviews. And just building inspections, the hourly rate that we contract, that's what we pay. Application fees, those have been on there. There just may be like a per unit added to it, or something like that as we've gone through it. Scroll down towards the stormwater rate. Just about to the very end. So this section through here is a brand new section in the consolidated fee schedule. This has to do with all the stormwater permits that's required by the EPA. And this will actually may change again. The state of Utah just came out with a lot of changes that you can't find a developer. You can enforce the rules, but there's no fines that are supposed to be associated with it. There's a lot of fight back right now about that.
Without fines, can we shut the project down though? Do we still have that authority or no?
We're trying to, they actually, even in the stop work part of it, they have changed that. And so we are changing that in our ordinance and going through to match up so that we can at least do a stop work order. So we'll have that enforcement. So we just got all this put together, and then the state of Utah changed the law, and so we will probably end up having to pull that back out at that time. So, and then scroll down a little bit more heavily. This is one that people really, down to the water. The next one, just a little bit farther down. We'll probably notice the most. So this last year, Fruit Heights did impact fee study and a water rate study. We hired Zions Bank to come in and go through this whole process of putting in impact fees. And at the same time, we came in and did a water rate study for the next few years. At that time in February, the council adopted the current impact fee schedule, which is this section right here, for the next 2031. So you build a home, that's the water impact fee that home has on our system in the brand new building. The other part of this is the proposed water rate schedule. Going through that has been a little more challenging. Zions Bank actually came back with just about a 10% increase in both the water rates and the base fee for the next bunch of years up to 2031. I've spent a lot of time, probably the last 2 months, comparing to where we are. Just to pay for our increased water which we purchase from Weaver Basin Water is going to be an average of about $75,000 a year. To cover that cost, our base rate will need to go up by $1.40 this year, and then continue to have that increase over the next years that they have proposed how much the water increase is. Along with that is the base rate, or the per gallon usage. That's kind of I would say it's kind of a catch-22, because the more you charge for water for people using it, the less water they use, and it kind of takes away some of your revenue. But as we've gone through it, done a lot of calculations and going through everything that Zion Bank's proposed. This next year, it's about just over 5% increase on each one of the rates for water usage. and then, a 7 to 10 over the next few years for each year. And so that's, what we're looking at right now.
Okay, the base rate is every month.
Base rate is every month, that would be an increase every month for water, just on the base rate, plus how much water you use. Right now, I will tell you, the average usage in Fruit Heights is about 8,000 gallons a month.
Which is down from what it used to be.
Yes, it's down from us. I will tell you, there still are people that use 45,000 gallons a month. So, I don't know, but yeah, but it's very surprising to me. So, we've gone back and looked, and you know, the meters aren't turning, and then but they still use that kind of water. But water is I will tell you, it's a very precious resource, and it's just getting more and more expensive to treat and to be able to supply. I don't know if anybody's drove up to the mouth of Weaver Canyon and you see the new pipe that Weaver Basin's putting in. That's carrying water to their treatment plant to help get water out to our communities. And so they're putting in a secondary 72-inch line to feed that plant to just provide water. And that's a few $1 billion to do that project. And that falls on all of us as a consumer. I will tell you, I want to say it was like 15 years ago, probably 15 years ago, Fruit Heights City had the option to purchase enough water for build out at a tier 2 rate, which is about 100 and something per acre foot, maybe a little bit less than that. Right now, Weaver Basin's tier rate is like a tier 4 or tier 5, and it's like $700 for that same water. So our previous councils and stuff like that have really looked out for the future of the city, and we're very lucky to be able to purchase the water at the price we purchase. These are the things that I'm presenting to the council for public hearings that will be holding in January. With any questions to the city council? George.
As I was going through it, there's some fees that I didn't understand the logic behind, and so I'll just take the one off the top. Ball diamond tournaments, $125 per day. Would it be possible to have you on that far right-hand side for some of those to describe why that fee is what it is, so that it's not arbitrary? That makes sense?
Yeah.
When I look at it, like how many times the ball field rented out? Or does it pay for itself? Does it not pay for itself?
So I will tell you, we do not rent the diamonds like we used to. 5 years ago, before '89, we had a pony league tournament that came to Fruit Heights every year and rented the diamonds out for the whole week and a half. Since '89, it's went through and took out the sprinkler system and all those kind of things. We haven't been to that point, but that's pretty much the same fee that we charged back then, and we just have not changed it because we haven't.
And our grass, you guys have been working on the grass.
We've been working on it.
It's
Yep, Public Works has got all the sprinklers replaced there, and everything was working at the end of the year. So we'll see that park really changing and progressing this next spring.
And the restroom is part of it as well, making sure that that is clean for a tournament.
Yeah. So.
Right. Or one of the ones, I was just looking at like the different businesses, why did pawnbrokers get $500 and the mechanical electric amusement device gets $150? Why is that not arbitrary is kind of what I'm wondering. I was wondering if we could.
So it comes to the impact to our ordinances. If you read through our ordinances, it describes the impact of the different businesses. And depending on that impact to the community is how they came up with those rates. As for that, and it's just out of our ordinance of how they describe the impact on the community.
Okay, so I should be able to go back and read those and feel like they're not arbitrary is what you're telling me?
Yeah, they're not. They're gone through that way.
Any comments?
Yeah, okay, I should know this, but the usage rate per 1,000 gallons if we want to look at where our house is it on our bill? How much-
Yes, it shows how many thousand
We just
gallons
need to
you
look in.
It shows you.
It shows you, yeah, it shows your base rate, and it shows you, thousand gallons you use.
Thank you.
And if you're like most people, you're hardly looking at that bill anymore because we're all on auto pay. And so you actually have to make an effort to look at it, not just open your mail. But that is saving the city a considerable amount of money that is not passed on to the citizens.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on this? Okay, with that, we're going to let Darren stay up here and talk to us about the proposal for some additional recycling for our community. The Davis County, Integrated Wasatch Waste members have voted that they want to see not only green waste recycling, but other recycling in every community in Davis County. And if we do not join that, they intend to make our regular rates very, very high. One of the things that that has changed is when they built the recycling plant that they built a couple of years ago. At that point in time, they told us that they thought that they could recycle all of our garbage and just have a single point recycling facility. And in that period of time, they have decided that trying to recycle all of our waste has become very, very expensive because of machinery breaking down. And so they've kind of given that up. So currently, our waste that they used to try and recycle, some of it is now, the facility there is being used as a tipping station, really, where it's all of our waste pretty much being hauled out of the county. And that facility is still open to allow people who are bringing their waste there so that, you know, they don't have to drive farther. But for the actual garbage truck waste, most of that is just being hauled, which is expensive. And so they would like every community to make good use of the recycling facility by implementing a recycling plant process for us. So you want
So where a lot of you actually have major issues with the integrated waste here tonight, you've seen that we have the recycling on the program. So if you want to take a minute and just kind of explain the process for recycling.
Yeah, I would love to.
I think that would be great, thank you.
Excuse me. Wow, this doesn't keep up. I'm Nathan Rich, I'm the Executive Director of the Wasatch Integrated Waste Management District. We're a special service district owned by 2 counties, Davis County, Morgan County, and 15-member cities. So all of Davis and Morgan County, with the exception of Bountiful, which continues to operate that landfill out that you see off of Legacy Highway. Marvelous attempt, but it's complicated, and so.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, yeah, no, and you did an admirable job. So we operate several facilities. the city. And, provide
And it also depends on how much snow we have and how much time you guys have plowed, right?
There's kind of different here, so, but. That would be.
Thank you, Darren. So with that, we're going to go on to our planning, city council planning commission schedule for 2025. Does anyone see anything on that schedule that a problem? Haley, could you put that schedule up? So we've kind of learned to work around a few things. Our first meeting in January, probably going to be a public hearing on a couple of items. That's scheduled for January 7th. Who's working on that? It's just really slow. And then kind of moving through the year, we generally take the first Tuesday in November off because it's election day. We have either, national elections or local elections, so that coming up in November are local elections again. So they would see there that there's a problem. No, not problem. Are you able to get it up? Okay. So generally we have 2 meetings each month, first and third Tuesdays, and then a planning commission meeting on the fourth Tuesday each month. Occasionally, planning commission meeting, there's not anything on their schedule, they don't have anything. Typically, we're here twice a month. So.
One thing I didn't see in there, the caucus, I know we're gonna have a conversation on that.
Yeah.
That we're sticking that in there, so we know that that's this year as well.
That would generally be in May. What day? On the 18th of May. So the caucus meeting that is referring to is where we nominate, typically we nominate people to run for city council, and mayor this particular year there will be the mayor will be elected as well 2 council members, and so people that are willing to run for council, 2 people that are willing to run for mayor. And we're going to be discussing, some of you may have seen the letter, trying to figure out the most efficient way to do that, so that we encourage people to be part of it and participate and take. So council will be discussing that in the next month or so, January, discussing how we want to go forward with that. Okay. I think that works really well. Skipping the spring break for the school district has generally worked well. And then whether it's 5 Tuesday, that was the plan. As well. Well, sometimes, one thing on the planning commission that might just to think about is, depends on if there's something, maybe put it on there as a tentative meeting, and then if there's something that's coming up that we can address. Any other comments? Sorry, what was that? So they doing that, it looks fine. Okay. So with that, we will go into our action items. Our action items tonight are to approve or deny the city council and planning commission schedule meeting for 2025. Need a motion?
I motion that we approve the city council and planning commission schedule of meetings for 2025. I second that.
Okay, we have a motion from Mark and a second from George to approve our schedule of meetings for 2025. All in favor, say aye. Aye. That was unanimous. And then our next thing is our minutes from October 15th, 2024. I made some changes today. Well, we made some changes today. I don't know if everyone's had a chance to look over what was there. George, had a meeting. Is there anything we changed that were made? Any discussion on that? So one of the things that I added that in relation to George's comments about not necessarily keep track of what the event is, I went in and to give it some context, I had asked that we as a council pay more attention to how we're spending the money. It is one of our council biggest duties as far as council members, keep track of the checkbook and knowing how your money is spent. It's something we're very responsible for to keep track of it. So with that, do I have a motion on the city council?
I think that we approve the October 15th, 2024 council minutes as changed. I got it.
So we have a motion by Flo to approve our city council minutes as corrected with a second by Mark. All in favor, say aye. Aye. So that was unanimous. We have no table of items. Just for calendar items, we have a planning commission meeting scheduled for November 19th. The office is closed for 2 days for Thanksgiving and the day after. It is one of the scheduled holidays for our staff. And then right now, the way it stands on December 3rd, we're having a holiday dinner with the council and staff. That is not a public meeting, business discussed unless something pops up that absolutely cannot wait. Otherwise, if that happens, it's on the state website, but I don't see that happening right now there. Okay, thank you. Election process. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
I question that one more time.
Election process is on here, hasn't it? I had a thought on that. I have a hard time getting our caucus. It's been a tradition here in our community for many, many years. It helps keep our costs down. But one of the thoughts, keeping in mind kind of Mark's concerns that heard more about how there were more people in one party that wanted to run and not enough in the other. One of the things that I have thought, I'm just throwing this out here for an idea, but if we met together
and then we took nomination for the positions available, and then we split at that point in time, so that, if there were 7 people that wanted to run for the council and only 2 for mayor, then you put each of the mayoral candidates in one of the parties, and some of the, equal number kind of on the council members of the party. So you split after you make your nomination, so that we know that we really had people that wanted to run. That's one of the concerns that we have in our city, is getting people that don't run. Sometimes people who are nominated or talked into a caucus meeting, and then they really don't want to run. And so it's been difficult. So I just wanted to throw that out there as an idea of maybe how our caucus meetings, while at the same time, maybe result in something. Just
I think I was very vocal on that. And if you did it that way, I would like still get rid of the sagebrush and pine cold. And I have an issue where you're saying tradition. I mean, times have changed from 5 years or however long in the city, something like that.
Since 1930.
Because I can guarantee you, in that last election, they were voting based on somebody they saw that was sagebrush or pine cold, thinking that everybody that was sagebrush or everybody that was pine cold thought like they did.
Well, I know we've had issues with, the pine cones must be the north, or the sagebrush must be the west, or, we definitely had those issues. That's,
But also, if you look at the state website, it was all nonpartisan, I think is what they call it.
yeah, it used to be a nonpartisan.
Yeah, so I still think we should do away with it, but that's my thought. Because, as you know, and I was very vocal last time, I think some people burn because of the system, and I think we should get up with the times.
And I have concerns about the number of people who have been willing to run in the past. And there are many communities, unfortunately, throughout our state, that people run completely unopposed. And our caucus system has helped. Okay, so I have a question. You're opposed to having parties at all, or opposed to caucus?
The caucus. I mean, we could do, the new trend that I hear, I don't know that much about it, is this rank choice, rank voting. I don't know if that's something we should look at. But,
I don't know that we have enough people even that want to run.
well, we have quite a few people here tonight. This is one of the, a year ago, like in the city council, myself, my wife, and my mother attended. And some of the issues that everybody's been bringing up lately, then we should have a problem finding 4 people or 2 people.
Yeah.
And speak out of your mouth and then not step up to the plate.
So one of the other, when I was proposing what I thought on this idea of being together, one of the things that the caucus meeting has done for us is given the opportunity to maybe listen to everybody who wants to run and their thoughts and ideas on things. And it's been very unscripted, so that the caucus meeting get a real feeling or what people think about things. I know we have our meeting candidates night. They have been kind of scripted in the last couple of times, and so rather than off the cuff, there's that ability to skew your answers just a little bit based on questions that you prior. So that's just a thought with the caucus. So, anyway, we're not going to make any decisions tonight. Do you have any other comments?
Not at the moment. It's entertaining to read it, and one thing that's hard for us is that we have to stay within the bounds of the state laws. The state constitution determines what we do locally, and it gives us those 2 options: the primary, which is built for the partisan elections. I hate having two elections to elect one person. Essentially, is what the primary is. The caucus was designed for the partisan parties, but those are going on away at the local level. And so, really, to Mark's point, yeah, we should have a committee one nominating, committee one nominating, committee two, not Sagebrush or Pinecone, because that conflicts what the purpose of it is. I do think we talked about sending out the survey, so we're going to send out the survey to see where residents are at. And I really like that idea. And I hope everybody takes the time to study the state laws that we're stuck up against, and maybe that's a constraint. Well, reminding them that the constitutional change is not going to happen. So
we would invite anyone here or listening to provide feedback on your thoughts on how we run our elections here in Idaho. So we'd love to hear if we can comment. Go ahead.
I think I love the caucus meeting because I love the talking and visiting with the neighbors and finding out how people feel. But I do feel like it's come down, and if somebody can't be there for those 2 hours on one night every 2 years, and that, I know there's another way to run, but I think that's just a little bit too constraining for people that can't be there and might still want to run and be heard. And so I think there might be a better way that we should look at primary and some ranked choice voting and the candidates night like that. They're still going to have to go stuff the community.
So one thing, with potentially having to be for primary, that is one cost. But if we are meeting and trying to bring as many as like to come into one room, then we'll need to rent like a room and a suite or something like that, which is also a cost. And so I think that's one of the things the council has to look at too, comparing costs. Thank you. Any other comments on that? Okay. With that, we will go into our council member reports. And George, do you have anything tonight?
Nothing, as long as the mayor gave you like 2 emails to address. Did he give you 2 emails to address? Okay, no worries. I will send it in an email. I'll get those to you and you to respond to them later. On spending, that there was change order to some big projects that we didn't know about.
Yeah. And again, that's something that residents of the county should also know about. So, okay, thank you. Well, you have.
Yes, and with the YCC, and they had a mock election in sort of the night before the real election, and that was really interesting. And it was well attended by the city council, well run by the Roadworks. And then I've been contacted about Christmas in the community. That's really forward, and they're looking for children to see the choir. 3 o'clock Sundays over in one of the church houses over across the street. And so if you know any children that want to see that choir, they children and age 7 to whatever you.
So which is built up.
South Country Way. Okay, so if you're going by Burton Elementary, so it's just barely northeast of Burton Elementary.
Okay. And when did those fire practices start?
This Sunday, 3 o'clock.
And what date will the Christmas the next
December 15th.
Mark?
I got a couple of things. The night before the election on Monday night, my wife and I were able to tag along with the youth council. And they went to Davis County and saw the election counting. So you were there too, so you can throw in comments if you want. But I'd always wondered, because you always hear about how maybe elections were bad or stuff being counted, but I'll tell you, I was so impressed when I left there of how things happened and how things were checked. And when I ran a year ago, we had like about 10 or 12 ballots that got kicked back because signatures didn't match. And I thought, boy, that was pretty impressive then. But they showed us how to do how they improve the signatures, how they count, and all the security and safety there. That I walked away from
not know if they check every signature, 200,000 residents.
But the computer checks.
No, check.
Oh.
The computers didn't use one computer, and they look on another computer to the past signatures, and they compare. And if they look too far apart, they flag it, and they call the person.
And they eventually get 5 sets of signatures in there, but what we found in this last election was that somebody, a youth, when they sign their driver's license, and as they mature a little bit more, their signature changes a little bit. Because there was probably out of 10 or 12, half of them kicked back last year because signature didn't match up. But it was the right person, but their signature changed. Okay, my second thing is, and I really appreciate Flo and George being here yesterday, we held our Fruit Heights City Veteran Memorial dedication. We had approximately about 65 residents here. Paula Stevens, Lieutenant Colonel, retired Army from Fruit Heights, along with American Legion Post 27, put on a program. There was an MIA POW flag in honor, and I didn't realize this, that we had a resident, Elmer J. Criddle, who was missing in action from our city. And there was a flag raising, music. Our city manager did the welcome because of the surgery that the mayor had, and he did a great job. Keynote speaker was Jim Frazier, he was also Lieutenant Colonel and retired U.S. Air Force. We got the Army and Air Force there. And a War Dog Memorial speaker, Linda Christmer. She's considered the War Dog. And then the memorial was dedicated, and then we had a rifle volley and taps. And absolutely spectacular, beautiful weather for the dedication. And there was a few tears that were shed and some neat stories. I talked to a woman that had lost her husband, and his name was on there, and she was there and had wished that she had her kids come to that. It was a very powerful, uplifting, and special occasion. And I would hope that residents, as they leave here tonight, it's all finished, there's lights on it, and it is pretty powerful to go out there and look at that. Now, since Founders Day, when we rolled it out, we've had 35 more names that were put on the far right rock. Already for next year, we have 3 names that will be engraved. And as of right now, we have a total of 270 names that have been engraved and honored on those rocks.
And Mark, thank you very much for all that you have done. Work with this committee and help me as possible for us. It means a lot to our people. Our cemetery committee will meet again on December 4th. We made some progress last time, still trying to decide if this is the right thing for the community and how to make it pencil. We believe that we can get some fairly significant donations towards making this happen. And it's really just a matter of finalizing a lot of numbers to see, and then asking for donations to do this, see if we can make it happen. So that's my report. Darren, do you have anything tonight? Lane?
Yeah,
So that means we're with 1 pump on our water tank right now. And, so everybody wishes to 1 pump. Well, it'll be great. Anything else, like Jeff, do you have anything for us tonight?
What's the update on the moderate income house report? On our last meeting, you were going to respond back to them.
Still working on response.
Okay.
Darren, would you like to just report about Rockland Bridge as well as anything else?
So, Rockland
How are our snow costs?
Thank you.
I have a question. There was an email from a resident wanting to know about the trail and where that's at. On Ottawa.
I've actually, talking about trail, that is, not sure. Yeah, that's right now. Depending on related to the job,
Have we missed anything? With that, we need a motion to adjourn.
Carrie's not here. Second it. We're stuck. I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion from Flo to adjourn and a second from George. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.